friend. So, the end of the last video, I was saying that over, well, it was just 4th of July, and I was saying that if I got a chance, then we were going to go watch a movie over the weekend. Well, we did 4th of July fireworks and all that fun stuff, and you had a lot of fun doing that. And then I had to work. 4th of July was on a Thursday this year. And then I had to work on Friday, so I told you that, you know, we would go watch a movie on Friday, or Saturday, sorry. So, the new Despicable Me movie came out on the 3rd of July, and you've watched all the movies, and the Minions movie and everything like that. And so I thought this would be a good opportunity to take you to watch your first movie. And so, we've eaten at a couple restaurants like that are on the other side of the street from the movie theater, and you've always asked what it was, and we've told you, but you've never been. And so, I got tickets to the first showing on Saturday, because I used to really love going to the movies, but now, like, I don't like going with a lot of people, because to me it just ruins it. But I figured if we got there early enough, you know, hopefully there wouldn't be too many people. And we got lucky. It was just us, me and you, and a lady and her daughter watching the movie. And that was pretty much it. And so we went in, and I got you a soda, and you wanted some candy, so I got you a bag of the gummy cluster Nerds. And then we went to the theater, and they had the reclining seats and all that fun stuff. And then you got to see the whole experience of watching the trailers and the new movies coming out, and then you sat down and watched the movies and had a really good time doing it. And like at one point you wanted to sit with me, so you came and you crawled and you sat like right here with me, and we watched the movie for a little bit. And it got me thinking about, like, I couldn't necessarily remember which was the first movie that I ever went to the theater and watched, but I knew it was either Harry and the Hendersons or Bambi. And so I looked them up, and Harry and the Hendersons came out in, what was it, June 5th, 1987, and they re-released Bambi again July 15th, 1988. So, I know I say Harry and the Hendersons, and the vast majority of people have no clue what this movie would be, so I'll explain it a little bit. So, it's this family, they're like out somewhere near Seattle, they're going through, and then at one point they're going back home, and they hit a Bigfoot. And they think the Bigfoot is dead, so they're going to take it home, but Bigfoot's not dead. And so then, Bigfoot, which they name Harry, or Sasquatch, whatever you want to call him, they name him Harry, and he becomes like their family dog or whatever. And so they got this like station wagon, and he goes to set up one time, and it puts a big dent in the roof of the station wagon. He's just like destroying their house and all this stuff. And then there's this famous hunter wanting to get them and all this stuff, and they end up taking them back out to the woods and all that stuff like that. And so that was the first movie that I remembered going to the movie theater and watching. But it was like a lot different back then. So now you have the big, so here in town there's 1, 2, at least 3 movie theaters. Yeah, 3. And they each have like 15, 20 screens in them. And so back when I was younger, we just had, one was called the Granada, and I can't remember what the other one's name was. And I think the only reason I remember the Granada is because it had this big, one of them old, like, if you think about like old Hollywood movie, what are they called? The big board outside where they would, it had the lights, and they would put the marquee. So it had the lights, and, you know, they would put which movies were showing, and they only had 2 screens. So you would only have the option of watching the one or the other movie. And normally the other one down the street would have two different movies. But like, you didn't have the reclining seats that you do now, and you could pretty much only get popcorn and soda and things of that nature. And it's just interesting because I remember watching Harry and the Hendersons. I remember watching Bambi. And then I think it was a while after that before I went to the movies again, but I remember watching Jurassic Park when it came out. And I want to say Miss Doubtfire. Yeah. And then I think I'll tell that story another time. I remember going to one movie and no one came to pick me up, and I was like, well, maybe they thought it was the other movie theater, and I went to that one and watched the movie, and then no one was still there to pick me up, and I'd walked in between the other two movie places a couple times, and I was just like, well, it's not too far, I'll walk home. And so that was after we had moved to Arkansas and we'd moved back to Illinois. I'll just go ahead and finish telling it. So I can't remember if it was Jurassic Park or Miss Doubtfire, but I went to watch it with one of my friends from school, and like I said, my ex-stepmom was supposed to come pick me up, and I go outside and I'm standing there waiting, and I'm waiting, and she's not there, and I'm getting worried. I'm like, okay, well, maybe she thought I said the other movie theater. So I walked down the street. It was 2-3 blocks, something like that, and I go down there, not there. And it's not like there was too many places that she could have parked. I think she just never came up to pick me up. And so I didn't know what to do, and I had a little money, so I just went and watched. I think I watched Wayne's World 2. And then I come out, and it's dark at this point, and still no one's around. And we lived probably half a mile from there at that time. And so I walked into the house, and she comes running up. Where were you and all this stuff? You were so worried we were going to call the police and all this crap like that. And it was like her and her mom and all that. And obviously I had done something wrong for going to the movies and her not picking me up. It was my fault. So I had to be punished for it. And so she convinced my dad to spank me. And that was the first and only time that he ever spanked me, was because of that. And I think, like, it hurt more that he spanked me because of her than anything else. And so I'll start telling these stories here shortly, but that's kind of like the tip of the iceberg of what started happening once my mom and dad got the divorce. And when they got the divorce, we moved back to Illinois, and those will be the next bit that I start talking about. So just trying to think of where to go. Well, I guess the only thing that you could say is the experiences in your life are going to shape you one way, shape, or form. And it's what you want to do with that of how you end up. You can either take what happened to you, you can dwell on it all the time, and you can just let it crush you and bury you. Or you could take the experiences that you have happen to you and the things that are said to you and know that that's not the way that life has to be. And it can motivate you to do stuff that you never thought that you'd be able to do. And if you go down that path, it can take you places that you never thought you'd be able to go. I was never supposed to go to Germany. I was never supposed to go to Iraq. I was never supposed to go to Korea. I was never supposed to be in Georgia. All this different stuff like this that I've lived and places that I've went and things that I've seen. If I would have let what happened to me as a kid affect me so much and cripple me so much, I never would be where I am at today. And it did shape me, and it motivated me. And if there's anything from this one, it should be the same thing. Don't ever let the stuff happen to you bring you down, because you're going to always get back up and keep going. And so with that, I just want to say, I love you, Finn, and I'll see you in a little bit. Bye.